Accucare Physical Therapy and Sports Medicine in Brick, New Jersey offers a state-of-the-art facility with all the best and current treatments. With athletic trainers, massage therapists, and doctors of physical therapy, Accucare has everything you need to stay healthy and perform at the highest level. Cupping, stretching, laser therapy, compression boots, and a full-body cryo chamber are just some of what you can expect at Accucare. Check out their website and social media links in my bio. No prescription is needed to see them. So call them today and start feeling and performing at your best. Again, thank you to Accucare for sponsoring the Shore Football Report. Just got two things to say right now. First, I want to thank Accucare. They are awesome, our great sponsor. Get there. If you haven't been there yet, make an appointment, get to Accucare, especially towards the end of the season when your body needs to get that extra push and be healthy on the football field. Rehabilitation, recovery, they are the best. Make an appointment, call them and tell them you're coming. All right. The Shore Football Report is definitely endorsing going to Accucare. They're the best out there right now. And they have athletes going there around the clock, all sports, and that's that. And also, when you're transitioning to another sport, your body is gonna be needing this Accucare treatment because you're using different body parts. So just make sure that you utilize Accucare, located in Brick. They are the best. I love being associated with them. They are part of the team, the Shore Football Report team. All right. The other thing I want to say is this: subscribe to the Shore Football Report YouTube channel. Every one of you, when you watch it, click subscribe. It's free. It's free. Turn the notifications off if you don't want to hear it, but subscribe. By you subscribing, says thank you. I need 1,000. I want 1,000 subscribers. Please, 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 please subscribe. Scott Stump says I don't say it enough on our show. That's why we don't got 1,000 subscribers. But subscribe. All joking aside, it's the cool thing to do. All right, join the Shore Football Report team. We got so many things that are going to be going on our YouTube channel, not just our talk shows. We're going to have extensive all-star team coverage that we're going to do. Also, yes, you've been asking, the Stumpy Awards, they're coming back. The Stumpy Awards are coming back from 8 years ago, and I know you guys are going to love it. So we're going to have all my all-star teams, all county, all shore, all division, my rankings of players, because I changed things up and seeing how guys are playing, adding the freshmen, the 2026s are going to be included in that rankings too. It's a lot of stuff, all going to be on our YouTube, the Shore Football Report YouTube. Subscribe. You won't want to miss it. In the off season, I'll be doing things around the clock for recruiting, talking with college coaches and coaches from all over the country will be on my talk shows throughout the off season. There's no off in my season. All right. Subscribe to the Shore Football Report. And also, more importantly, make an appointment to Accucare.
All right, Rob, it's also time for the non-public playoffs to get started after a week hiatus last week because less teams in that, the non-public, so they don't have as many weeks of playoffs. But we got 3 teams still standing in the non-public brackets. We're going to start with non-public A, which, as we all know, is like one of the most beastly brackets in all of America.
Hey,
Forget New Jersey.
before you go on, Scott, they do not do anything with PowerPoints. It's all seated. So the thing I just don't like, though, is that the public schools are all PowerPoints, but the private schools, they go by a seating. And Donovan Catholic could potentially have higher PowerPoints than some of the teams, but they knock down their PowerPoint. So it always is the Power Five. You got Don Bosco, Bergen, Peters, St. Joe's Montville, and Seton Hall Prep. And then it's who else? And it usually is now Donovan and Del Barton fighting for that 6, because you don't want to play that number 2. And Donovan's got the 7. They valued Del Barton's 4 and 5 over Donovan Catholic's 5 and 3 higher. And I think because he lost to St. Peter's Prep by 5. Right? And then Donovan Catholic.
Right. I mean, it's definitely a huge swing in this bracket depending on who you get seated against. Like you said, if you can avoid the big boys early on, you at least have maybe a chance to make a semifinal or something like that.
They got
Catholic, they're going to have a home game. They're the 7 seed. They're going to play number 10 seed Hudson Catholic. The winner of that game, though, gets Bergen Catholic, which one of the best teams in this country. And definitely New Jersey, top 2 team in New Jersey. So that's a tough draw. And like right now, you'd have to say, best case scenario, Donovan gets a win here against Hudson, moves on, takes their shot against Bergen, which comparatively they went up and played St. Joe's Montville, I believe was during the regular season, lost pretty handily. Yeah. So again, they'd be heavy underdogs in that game. But when you're talking about, Donovan Catholic, to me, the biggest thing is offensively, they really need to kind of get their mojo back a little bit. They got stifled by Middletown South in that tough loss. When they played RBC, they only managed 7 points, and that was on a kick blocked field goal that they returned for a touchdown.
Yep.
So to me, that they want to get back on some good footing offensively. Hudson Catholic is 7-2. They've played Del Barton and DePaul. They didn't play any of the big boys up there on their schedule, so it's a little bit deceiving. Mm-hmm. Their quarterback, Chris Lang, is solid. Hassan Manning is like a running back safety. He has multiple FBS.
Chris Lang is from Freehold. I think he's from Freehold Borough. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I know we've had a couple guys from out there in the Freehold Regional District go up and play over the years. Nasir Bell is another weapon that they have.
I'm excited. I'm excited.
I mean, a lot of playmakers on both sides of both teams in this game.
Yeah.
Donovan's defense has been pretty solid all year. It's just more about getting the running game back in a good place with Najee Calhoun, the freshman, and just throwing the ball better and making more plays with Michael Thomas, making more plays down the field.
Yeah, I mean, their program's built to how are we going to do in this? They want to get to that next level. They want to beat Bergen Catholic, Donovan Catholic. That's what they're trying to do. So they're going to have an opportunity to see where they stand in the second round and playing a Hudson Catholic team, which is not to take them lightly, because they are still a good football program with good athletes right there. But I think Donovan Catholic looks at this as being excited. Let's play. Let's get a win at home in front of our crowd, and then let's see how we do against Bergen Catholic, because that's ultimately how they are judging their program. They've beaten teams in the short conference. They played the publics. They're okay. Now they want to start beating teams in their own bracket, and that's Bergen Catholic.
And now that's also a high-profile game. You're getting your players exposure against really good teams.
Yes.
That's a big film game recruiting-wise. You may be matched up with a guy who's committed somewhere or has a million offers, and if you have a good game against him, that might snag you a couple offers. So those are the games you want to be playing in. And then you look also on the other part of the bracket. You think Donovan Catholic potentially got a tough draw because they have to go up to Bergen. St. John Vianney, if they can beat a tough St. Augustine team, they would have to go to Don Bosco Prep, the number 1 team in the state.
St. Augustine Prep in the past has had undefeated teams, and they go up north with this high expectations and get shellacked. So South Jersey doesn't get a lot of respect from those big schools up north. But yeah, I mean, give credit to Coach Papston. He's done a great job. Talk about adversity. I mean, lost the first game. We all were talking about maybe they're not going to be good this year. Goes on a 5-game winning streak, loses his quarterback, Aaron Van Treese, the way he did, and he still is able to course. I mean, they're 5-4. I give him a lot of credit. I think he's done one of the better jobs in the short conference this year.
I agree. For everything that team has faced this year, just to keep things together, keep them playing hard, playing competitive. Yeah. I mean, that's a devastating event.
Give them a lot of credit. And they're going to play a St. Augustine prep team. I don't think there's a lot separating them. Could they win that game?
They're 5-4. They have played some tough teams. They played Lenape, who's the number 1 seed in the public bracket. Camden East Side, who's a quality team. They played Millville tough, lost to them 21-14. So they got some guys, Tristan McClear, their running back, Julian Turney. I mean, they have a legendary coach. Peach Lancetta has over 250 wins. He's been there a long time.
This is a huge game for Vianney. They win this game. This is a huge, huge program win. Beating them. Yeah. I don't care about the second round.
Especially, too, just look at the competition for talent across the state between these non-public teams. So, just getting wins even against other tougher teams in South Jersey a player might say your program is now on his radar. So much of this is a sales pitch as much as it's a football game for non-public schools. So I think that, you're right. That would be, and honestly, that would just be a huge capper to an emotional year, a year where they fought through so much and did so well, to go out on the road too and get that victory. I mean, because once you go to Bosco, whatever, you do your best. But if you can get that victory, I think that's a big kind of exclamation point for a season where you endured something that no shore conference team really has gone through ever. I mean, sadly, in memory, I don't know anyone who's suffered an injury like Aaron Van Treese has had and things like that. So to see your teammate have to go through all that and to still move on with your season and do well, of it, it's pretty incredible.
No, he was commuting, Scott. He was commuting from practice to the hospital, and still keeping the football, important at St. John Vianney. It's crazy, that football isn't as important when something like this happens in somebody's life. It's not.
Right. In non-public B, we have the defending champs, Red Bank Catholic, trying to do something they have never done since the beginning of the state playoff system in 1974, and that's win back-to-back state championships. And they enter as the number 1 seed. They're going to face 8th seeded Gloucester Catholic. That's not this week. That's coming up in the following week.
Yeah.
They're coming off their most explosive offensive performance of the year and a win over a team from Curtis, New York, 57-36. I mean, that's got to feel good going into the playoffs. Yeah. They're a heavy favorite against Gloucester, so let's more talk about the overall bracket. It seems like the consensus is going to be DePaul against RBC in the final. Is that the way you see it, or how do you see this?
Yeah, I'll tell you, DePaul is a team that people are saying that could give Red Bank Catholic a run for their money. I mean, again, a 4-5 or whatever their record is right now, comparable to Red Bank Catholic, those big schools are going to always value that, the big wigs. You got to beat them to win a championship. And DePaul's got a high tradition and good football that they're playing right there. The way they did the non-publics, there's a lot of teams in the A that should be in that third, that middle non-public that they used to have. They used to have 3 non-public champions. Now it's
right. Yeah, that is true. It definitely seems like such a huge swing between the enrollment numbers right at the bottom of that A and B between, do you have to play Bosco and Bergen to win a state title, or do you have to beat Del Barton or DePaul or St. Joe's Hamilton? You know what I mean?
I would have been nice to see Donovan Red Bank Catholic battling it out for the same championship, because Donovan is only a couple of students higher than Red Bank Catholic, yet Red Bank Catholic's playing they're the favorite in the B, and Donovan Catholic's just sitting waiting to play Bergen. in the
Right. And if
second round.
RBC was in the A, I mean, they'd be maybe the fifth best team or fourth best team. I mean, you'd have
That's
Bergen,
six.
Bosco, St. Peter's, Montville. You could argue, that they would be a
Six.
heavy, heavy underdog. If they even made the finals in that bracket, that would be impressive.
Yeah.
So that it's selfishly, it's always tough for the rankings.
Yeah.
I mean, this year it's different because they played each other on the field. RBC beat Donovan, so that's settled. But when you have these situations where if a team didn't meet or whatever, and one team goes to play some juggernaut, whereas the other team has a much more winnable bracket, it can be hard to gauge how you would evaluate who is actually better in the end.
I had somebody saying, "Oh, looking at all these records, RBC is going to coast right through." Wait 1 second. I mean, RBC is loaded talent. We do know that. Yes, they won the championship last year, but by no means is it going to be an easy ride. But I tell you what, Frankie.
Yeah, I mean, Holy Spirit is also probably like a fringe top 20 team in the state, and that's who they would have to play in the second game. Or St. Thomas Aquinas is also a really solid program. So, this is not like just going to be, some easy, like we're going to steamroll everybody. Like this
Frankie Williams.
Tough bracket.
Frankie Williams is a sophomore, had a great season. He's now you're asking a sophomore to lead a team that has won a championship last year back and win it again. So it's a lot on his plate. I know he's got Sapina Portola. I mean, I'm waiting for Emmanuel Ross to have that game that is like John Madden numbers: 6 catches, 225 yards, 3 touchdowns. I'm waiting for it because he can do it. But so they have the horses too. They really do. Red Bank Catholic's defense is very good. Shows how good Curtis is, scoring 30 plus on Red Bank Catholic.
Right. Yeah, because in the game RBC lost against Seton Hall Prep, they still only gave up 17 points in that game. So, for Curtis to hang 36 on them, you don't really see that against RBC. And again, maybe that's an eye-opener for RBC too. Hey, we have to clean some things up. We have a week off to do it before we got to start this thing.
Now,
so
Coach Lang, I know very well, and he looks for something for bulletin board or a chip on his shoulder. And I think that he's going to be playing those cards a little bit for RBC because he's got an experienced team coming back, and they might need something. Maybe, hey, you're not the number one team in the shore anymore. Nobody thinks you're number one anymore. You're only number 2, right? Hey, DePaul is being told that they might have a chance to win the state title. Okay, guys, what do you think? He's playing those cards, right? Because RBC needs something like that to get him going. With that, because I think things were coming a little too easy for him in the beginning of the season.
Yeah, I mean, they were very dominant, right?
Very dominant.
Right out of the gate.
And I credit to
them. I think they tested themselves in against some quality teams. I mean, the Seton Hall Prep game was a loss, but at least it was a game against another really tough team, especially a tough defense. But you're right. I mean, they're the number 1 seed. If they don't win this bracket, that's a disappointment. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Especially if you look at the state rankings and what they've done, RBC is the strong favorite in this bracket. So even though they've never won back-to-back state titles since back in the days of like where sports writers just awarded it, the NJSA just awarded you a title in the 50s and 60s.
Scott, they have so much competition on their own practice field. I mean, You're talking about they had a quarterback battle. They didn't name the quarterback until the end of to the end of the summer. Come on. I mean, Frankie Williams is pretty good. I'd love to see the other guy if he's just as good. They got like 3 tight ends. They have 3 wide receivers. Their line is incredible. How about this? Their kicker. They had a freshman kicker in the beginning of the season, Blake Caruso, a freshman, 20 extra points, doing great. He gets hurt. The next guy comes in, Lamorte, and he's kicking field goals too. I mean, they are deep at a lot of positions. Their practices must be very competitive. So they got horses too. I mean, how about Michael Palmieri? He's one of the most forgotten guys out there. He's a great outside linebacker. Everybody talks about Davin Bruton and all that stuff. And I mean, they got guys that I think they're going to unleash. I really believe they're going to unleash.
I think the other part of it is, they'll tell you that, the coaches will say, these rankings don't mean anything to us. That's just sports writers' opinions or other people's opinions. All we care about is championships.
Yeah.
But you don't think they wouldn't want to go out and just smash 3 teams in a row by like 3 touchdowns or more and say, we're the number 1 team. We don't care if Toms River North goes undefeated and wins it all or whatever. Like, we went through a solid parochial bracket and blew out every team in our path. So I think they would like to use this tournament as a statement for themselves too, of like, here's our closing argument to be the number one team in the short conference.
When you're dealing with 16, 17, 18-year-old kids, I don't care how mature they're acting, when they're by themselves, they want to be number one. They think they're the best, and they rightfully so. They have been very dominant, very impressive. They got a lot to look forward to these next couple of weeks with that. We're going to let things just fall into place, though. But we know that the non-public B, we're going to be sitting pretty good. Red Bank Catholic is going to be a team that I think is going to battle for the state championship again. I think they're the favorite, but you got to watch out for DePaul. I think so. You just got to watch out for it. But I think RBC is the heavy favorite. Good. Done. Yeah.